let's get started. Today I'm here with Joe Ziolkowski with On Target Home Inspection. How's it going, Joe?
It's going good. How about yourself?
Doing very well. Weather's a little bit warm down here in Tennessee. How about up in Illinois? We're hot and humid.
I think we might be in good competition with you guys now. I think we're at about 95. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're probably about there too as well. And the humidity seems a lot different down here than up there. It's high, but it doesn't feel as stifling as up in Illinois. Maybe that's because you're closer to the lake, and I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is. So,
Just
all right.
lucky.
So, Joe, how'd you get started in home inspections?
Well, back around 2008 and 2009, I was in construction, and that's about when the real estate market really started to tank.
Okay.
And because of that, the construction jobs dried up a lot too. So after about a year of being laid off about half the time, I thought, well, there's got to be a better way. And I always knew I liked real estate, and I always knew I wanted to work for myself. So, I mean, this just kind of seemed like the most logical choice, you know? So I just went to school and got my license, and it just has been a fun ride ever since.
So there is a license process for you guys. You've got to go through a certain amount of it, training, and I'm assuming do continuing ed and everything as well.
Yeah, in Illinois there is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably different from state to state, but you would hope that that would be every state.
You would, but it's not by
Okay.
a long shot, yeah.
Yeah. So you're what areas do you work? Just Chicagoland area? Do you go way out to like DeKalb County, or is there some certain geographic areas you try to stay in?
So we're based out of the South Chicago suburbs in Cook County.
Okay.
So we service that area and then like all the collar counties. So like, Will and DuPage, and we'll go to DeKalb once in a while. But
Right.
usually it's like Will, DuPage, and Kane and Kendall,
Yeah,
along
you're
with
trying to
Cook.
expressway driving down a little bit at least, right?
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
So I'm a new home buyer and I'm buying a house for the very first time. What kind of tips or what kind of things should I know when I'm looking to pick out a home inspector to work with?
So the first thing I would say, and this is going to sound self-serving, but it's really not. Don't focus only on price.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, value is important. Like, you want to make sure that you're getting the most for the money that you spend. But if you hire the cheapest inspector, you will absolutely get what you pay for. And this is coming from so many clients of mine and other people and realtors that I've talked to. Usually, somewhere in the middle is probably your best bet. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need to hire the most expensive person necessarily, but the cheapest person will almost always cost you so much more
Right.
after you move in, just with the stuff that they missed or what they don't tell you.
Yeah. It's a huge process too. And some people I know I've heard of people that's decided, well, no, my uncle's in construction. He's going to come take a look at the house. And that's okay. I guess I wouldn't recommend it because your uncle might be a really great guy and he may know a lot, but he doesn't have the specific training and knowledge and hit some of the specific points. And you can't go back to your uncle afterwards and say, hey, you missed this.
Hmm.
'Cause you didn't pay him anything anyway. So, and on price, I would agree. It's not, don't always go for the cheapest because there's a reason why it's the cheapest usually.
Yeah.
So I engage you to do the home inspection, and how does that process work? So I'm assuming I sign up or do I pay you up front or do I pay you at the time of service, or how does that work usually?
So you would call the office and you would schedule your appointment. From there, we would send out an e-agreement, which is basically stating what we're going to do, what we're not going to do, and where we're going to do it.
Okay.
And we would need you to read and sign that for us before the inspection. You would have the opportunity to pay at that time, or you can pay actually any time before you read the report.
Okay.
So all that's handled online typically, though we do accept cash and checks on site as well.
Okay. So now we're clients of yours and we go out to the house. Do you I mean, what do you recommend do I show up at the house with you? Do I show up later in the process? What's the norm, I guess? What do you see most?
In a world where there's no COVID, we obviously would say please come with and learn as much as you can from us while we're there. In a world with COVID, like the one we're living in now, we're trying to minimize everybody's exposure, including the home sellers. So we're saying maybe just come for the last half hour and like don't bring the whole family, just come yourself.
Okay.
And we can show you around the house. We can show you where everything is. You can ask us questions and we can go over what we found.
Okay. All right. So you're, some people confuse, or I've found some people confuse the appraiser with the home inspector. The appraiser is just worried about value. It's going to make sure the house isn't falling apart. But the home inspector, what are some of the, give me some of the major points that you hit on your inspection? What are the key things that you're looking for, I guess?
So we're looking at the condition of the house, like the physical condition. And it's not a code inspection. A lot of people think that we're looking for like code violations. We're not.
Okay.
Like we have to know a lot of code just because it informs the things that we say. But what we're looking for are functional and safety deficiencies in the home. So we're looking at things like foundation. We're looking at the mechanical systems like your HVAC, your electrical, your plumbing, that kind of stuff. We're looking at the roof. We're looking at the exterior, including grading of the grounds around the house to make sure that you're not, pulling water in towards the foundation.
Okay.
I mean, there's so much stuff we're looking at.
Yeah,
We
I gotcha.
look at 500 things every time we go to an inspection.
Okay. So you go through the inspection and then everything's done. Do you usually summarize any findings or things when you're there, or is that more something that you do through the actual report?
So if the client is there, which we do encourage them to be there at least at the end, then we'll go through all the major stuff that we found.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to point out necessarily every loose doorknob because the list is almost always long of little stuff that we find.
Yeah.
We'll go over the big stuff in person, and then also while we're there, we're going to go over like where the main shutoffs are and like how to care for the furnace and the water heater and those kind of things.
Yeah, which way the air filter should go in.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I know it seems so minor, but I've seen it screwed up so many times. So, okay, so you go through the major things. Now, some of the items on your report are really not, and this is just from my understanding, not things that, hey, you need to get the seller to fix these, but more, hey, these are things you may want to, pay attention to down the road, or regular maintenance things that may need to be taken care of. Because I know I've heard of clients wanting the world of, this doorknob's loose, like you mentioned, or this outlet cover is a little bit loose, or there's a cracked outlet plate, or things like that. When you're sending the report, do you highlight like, hey, this is a major thing and these are just minor, or do you do, how is that the report? Is the report done something like that?
It is, yeah. And we do point out, like if I find a loose doorknob, I'm gonna let you know about it. Because why not? Since I found it over there. But the report is broken down into different summaries. They're color coded. So there's a red summary, which is either safety stuff or like it's on fire, you gotta fix it right away type stuff. There's the orange summary, which is it needs to be fixed, but maybe it's not so urgent, but it's deficient. And there's the blue summary, which is either little stuff like a loose doorknob or preventative maintenance. Like it's not broken, but if you improve this in this way now, it's going to save you lots of money later.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Oh, just lost my train of thought. How long does it usually take you? It probably varies by size of the house.
It does. It varies by size and by age of the house. But
Okay.
normally, anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours, I would say, is reasonable.
Okay. So you finish up, and then when do I get the report?
Same day.
Oh, really? Okay.
So not at the end of the inspection, because I do like to take it back to the office and tweak it and maybe add in graphics or anything that might be useful, but always by that evening.
Now, are there, like, if there's I don't know, something in the attic, are there pictures usually, or is it just major items you have pictures, or how does it usually work?
Pictures for almost everything.
Okay.
And not only are there pictures, but sometimes where video is more appropriate, we'll insert a video. And sometimes if graphics are helpful that show, how something is supposed to be installed, we'll insert those as well.
All right. So I guess the best way for somebody to look at your services, and what's the average home inspection run?
That really depends by region. I would say by us in Chicagoland, it probably ranges anywhere from about 375 to about 500.
Okay, so let's cut the middle. Let's say 450. I spend 450 on an inspection. The idea is that it's to save me thousands of dollars down the road. I know just from hearing horror stories of air conditioners or furnaces, things like that, you don't get a home inspection, nobody takes a look at it, and you get there the first day you try to turn the air on, doesn't even work. So I guess that from a consumer standpoint, don't skimp, spend 450 because it could save you thousands of dollars down the road.
Honestly, one thing that we miss could cost thousands and thousands of dollars. So yeah, just to get the better inspector in there, it's well worth it to spend the extra 50 or $100.
Right. And that now, so then We take the buyer takes the home inspection to their attorney. I know each state's different. In Tennessee, we're not an attorney state, but their attorney, their realtor, whatever it might be, and they put together a list of what, hey, the seller needs to, or they want the seller to fix X, Y, and Z. Then I think that's a process how it kind of usually works. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, typically. So we'll send the report to the buyer and also to their realtor with the buyer's permission.
Okay.
And then they'll go through it together. And then, of course, the realtor is the negotiation expert. So they're the ones that are going to let them know, okay, well, it makes sense to ask for this and this, but not to ask for this and this.
Okay.
So then they'll take that to the attorney. The attorneys duke it out, and then hopefully they make a deal.
Okay. Cool. So I got to ask you, what's the most craziest thing you've seen at a home inspection?
Oh, geez. That's a big question. So there's a type of insulation called vermiculite that often contains asbestos in it.
Okay.
And I was in a foreclosure because we work with a lot of investors. And I didn't know this until about halfway through the inspection, but the attic was full of that stuff. And somebody had torn down about half the ceiling and, disturbed all that insulation, which means that we were probably walking through those fibers and particles
Oh, great.
for a good half of the inspection.
Well, here's what I can tell you is what I know of inspectors. You guys are crawling in attics, and today it's 95 degrees humidity up in the attic that's got no air, crawling in crawl spaces, bugs, and it's not a job for me. Not something I would like to do, cramped spaces. But the work that you guys do sometimes is overlooked, and this I think the savings that you can provide a home buyer, a future savings that you can look out for. I mean, even if it's something you're up in the attic and you find mold, I mean, could be a huge deal that if someone's not up there or somebody kind of doesn't really want to climb in the attic or climb on the roof and look at the roof. I mean, there's a huge expense they could be walking right into. And it's, with so many first time buyers, they don't have thousands of dollars to throw into the house after they move in. So I guess my
Absolutely.
word of caution would be get a home inspector. If you're not sure, if you're on the fence, get a home inspector.
Yes, our tagline is protect, educate, advocate.
Perfect.
So yeah, and I mean, as much as you're getting a lot of value from the education of the home inspection, it's a risk mitigation tool.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, and it's worth it.
So now that we've gone through the process, let's get a little personal. What do you like to do for fun?
I think I'm not a very fun person. I work all the time, so I guess I like to do home inspections for fun.
Excellent. Okay. See,
No, I hang with my wife and my dog. I like to read. I like to exercise. I like to just watch movies. Plain boring stuff, I guess, but that's what I like to do.
what kind of dog do you have?
So she is a pit boxer mix, and she's a brindle, which
Okay.
is like a certain kind of a coloration of her fur. She's a gorgeous dog.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm a dog. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a dog lover. So we have two rescue pets, a Anatolian Shepherd and a Terrier something mix. She's got a little terrier head with a big fat body. So pretty
Nice.
interesting. So what's one thing most people don't know about you?
Uh,
I've had some really interesting responses on this. One guy was going to be an FBI agent before he got into the business. So that's why I like to throw it out there.
one thing that most people don't know about me is in a former life, I was a black belt in martial arts and a boxer.
Excellent. Okay. That's cool. That probably helped with the your like fitness side of things, right?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely a lot. So, what's the best way for somebody to reach out to you? Good number to reach you at.
So the best way to get a hold of us is to call the office, and that's 708-274-7279.
Okay.
Or they can hit us up on the website, which is just ontargethomeinspection.com.
Okay. And in the comments below, make sure we put your contact information in there as well. I really appreciate your time, and if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. If you reach out to Joe, I think you'll get a good, honest, straightforward look at what's up with the house, and at least going in, what you're getting into, and they provide a great service at a reasonable fee, and I don't think I know you won't be disappointed working with this company. So once again, thanks again, Joe, for your time. I hope you stay busy, and hopefully the temperature will cool off a little bit, so crawling in those attics isn't quite as bad.
Back at you, Roy. Thank you. Yeah, we're here to help, so give us a call.
Okay, sounds good.